What's up, y'all? Welcome to the What is Truth podcast. I'm your host, Wheezy. It's been a couple of weeks, but we are here back in the saddle. Have had a lot of personal things going on. My dad's health, and currently going through a goddamn divorce. And anyone that's been through it knows that it's not fun. But yeah, I thought I'd do a show. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do one today. Just my mind's had a fuck ton of things in it, and so I didn't plan anything. And I was lucky. My boy Steve, who I can count on for just about anything, I just shouted out to him. He was my first choice, and he said yes. And here we are, Mr. Steve Poikonen. How are you, my man?
Fantastic, sir. Having been through a divorce, I have nothing but unlimited empathy for that. And yeah, I'm gonna give you a couple of bits of advice that helped me. Um, Lots of cocaine and excessive drinking are bad ideas. They're bad ideas. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have started out with it's a bad idea to do, but but typically I would shy away from that. Also, um, you want it depending on how late in the process it is. You just go around to every divorce lawyer in the state and tell them your case. It automatically becomes a conflict of interest, and then your partner has a much more difficult time. Your ex partner finding an attorney.
Say that again.
So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
poison the well by going to every divorce lawyer in like a
Mm,
tri-state area and
yeah.
just telling them the basics of your case, it default becomes a conflict of interest when
Mm,
your ex goes to get an attorney, and they have a much more difficult time doing it. And so they
I
usually wind up getting the shittiest possible attorney because you previously poisoned the well.
see. Note to self. Yeah, man, it's not fun, man. And then especially when you've known someone where you thought you knew someone for 30 fucking years. But I don't want to get into details in case any prying eyes and fucking ears are out there. Um but yeah, it sucks. Um anyways, I wanted to do the show, man, cuz it's what I love to do, and it's a good way to distract from a lot of the shit happening. And there's always good stuff happening in the news cycle, especially when we have a Trump administration and we have Epstein news coming and going. We get a little smidget of sprinkles of Diddy action here and there, so we got lots to talk about. And for those that are not familiar with you, you are the host of AM Wake Up, and you guys do a day or a show every day of the week catching up on the latest trends, and you guys often hit up on stuff way before it becomes mainstream type of news. So for those that may not be too familiar, man, give us a little taste of your show.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is revitalize the spirit of like old school morning radio, not the wacky morning zoo fake voice, scripted chaos nonsense, but like, more like the Opie and Anthony style, um free form conversation. No real format, just we see things as they're coming, break it down, deconstruct it, try to have as much fun as possible as we're doing it. And the end result is typically people getting their news weeks to months to years in advance, um, because the guiding philosophy really is that politics is something that happens downstream after all of the decisions are made, and it's up to the public relations firm of the oligarchy, whether that be Trump or Kamala Harris or any of the Congress critters, to sell it to the people. So we don't focus on that, we focus on what happens before. And it makes you appear to be an oracle when you're effectively just showing people what the people who have legitimate influence are doing and saying in real time.
Yeah, it's certainly a way to do it too. I mean, that's how James Corbett he says a lot of the same shit, that he's not an oracle or anything like that. He's just reading what's being thrown out there, and it's not hard to deduce what's happening. Um, yeah, man. So I titled the show "Sex, Power, and Puppets." Um, there's a lot of that happening right now, and and thus the title. But a lot of stuff happening with Trump, man. We heard this week that he by what was it, Senator Ron Johnson, claiming that Trump was a fucking FBI informant, and then recently he's threatening to shoot down jets in Venezuela, uh, which is hilarious because when before this term they were saying, "Oh, Trump is the peace president, peacetime guy. He's anti-war, all this fucking bullshit." And I remembered the first time around he was threatening Venezuela back then, and it seemed like everyone conveniently forgot about it. So here we are, another term later, and he's threatening Venezuela, threatening to start shit with Venezuela once again. What are your thoughts on the whole Trump clown show?
Well, since you brought it up, Trump's adventurism in Venezuela in his first term was one of the things that initially got me demonetized and heavily censored on YouTube. I was one of a handful of people who were covering. There were some activists who were holed up in the Venezuela embassy in DC for weeks. They wouldn't come out because Trump was trying to overthrow the government of Venezuela. Nobody, this is 2018, maybe 2019. And I was very new to the whole podcast thing, and I was like, oh, well, this is clearly illegal and an overstep of, you know, U.S. military force and, trying to expand empire. This is right along the stuff that I talk about. Found a dude who was outside of the embassy trying to deliver food to the people that were up in it. At least one of those people is currently dead, Kevin Zeese. He died in 2020 under somewhat suspicious circumstances in his own right, just shortly after being exonerated for being a part of the people that were in the embassy. So it's wild to watch it come completely full circle 7-8 years later, with the exact same president in Venezuela going up against the exact same president in the US after a 4-year hiatus for the exact same reasons, which have nothing to do with narco trafficking. They have nothing to do with cocaine. They have everything to do with the fact that Venezuela has the second largest deposit of oil reserves right off of their coast in their own waters across anywhere on the planet. And so watching the Trump administration trying to sell this shit, especially when we've had such a massive uptake in American hardcore powdered drug consumption over since COVID, is just wild to me. And the fact that they're able to get away with telling these lies to an ever increasingly stupid population by design is it's upsetting to me, because they really can't be telegraphing their punches anymore. They couldn't be doing a better job at showing you exactly where they're headed, where they want to do, what they want to do. And yet, because of a captured media marketplace, we've got all of the cheerleaders and all of the MAGA holdouts and all of the people whose primary job it is to sell hopium to the masses, getting in the way of people being able to just look out the window and go, oh, that's what's going on. Oh, well, that's bullshit. Oh, well, I'm not going to support that anymore.
Yeah, 100%. What are your thoughts on Trump being a somewhat of a
An
savior, I
FBI snitch?
suppose? an FBI snitch. What are your thoughts on that news? When I heard it, I about spit my coffee out. I thought it was hilarious, and it was even more hilarious seeing some of these MAGA guys run with it and actually buy the fucking story. And apparently, a lot of that comes from old Mr. Brad Edwards, one of the Epstein attorneys that I've always felt was dodgy. I always felt was running cover for Trump from the very get go. And one of the clips that often gets played is the one he did with our buddy Derek Bros, you know. And the thing that I've always said is Bradley Edward did not represent every single fucking Epstein victim. So to
Yeah.
use him as the sole voice on all Epstein victims is completely ludicrous. What are your thoughts?
Um, well, first off, and I don't want to get you in trouble since this is your platform, so I'm not even going to say the name of the large account that took Brose's interview with Bradley Edwards totally out of context, showed like a 17-second snippet of it, and then was like, boom, Trump exonerated, about it. It was Benny Johnson. Um, but
Yeah.
that's where this meme now got pushed out. We played on the show the other day the full 8.5 minutes of interview between Bradley Edwards and Bros. And in context, it makes a lot more sense. And I agree with your assessment, Wheezy, that Edwards is like, uh, look, I don't fault an attorney for being a careerist or having higher aspirations than where they currently stand. I would put lawyers just below whatever that little like brainworm thing that RFK had, or the flesh-eating bacteria that's in the lake right outside of Austin, Texas, that kills a couple of people a year. I think lawyers are like a step or two below that as far as bottom-feeding parasites go. I'm not a big fan. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I think everybody should have a legal demon that they can summon if you desperately need to. But generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of them. So Edwards is out there doing scumbag lawyer shit, and he's trying to promote himself, his brand, what he could do for people apparently seeking justice while at the same time placating the administration. Because, like we've all come to realize, Donald Trump is a petty, vindictive tyrant who will send the National Guard to your freaking door if he so well chooses.
Yeah.
So I think that Edwards is trying to like ride the fence a little bit as far as that goes. Um, if Trump had a prior relationship with the FBI, it was only to make himself look good or get himself out of the spotlight. I'm sure all these guys have talked to law enforcement multiple times over the years. With as many times as Trump has been in court, sued for this, deposed for that, had to take time out of his busy schedule of, staring at his misshapen naked reflection in a solid gold mirror, whatever it is that he does. You would assume that he's had contact with the FBI. The idea that he was snitching on Epstein or feeding anyone information on Epstein is a pipe dream, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah. 100%, man. Not believable whatsoever, man. It's just this whole narrative of him from the MAGA tards that he was some superhero. We've
Mm-hmm.
all heard the story of allegedly Epstein was raping a girl at Mar-a-Lago, and he crashes the door in with his Superman cape, picks the girl up on his shoulder and flies away and takes her to the police station. It's so fucking stupid, dude. And I
And you know
hear it
what, dude?
repeated over and over.
Here's the thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, but if the story went, he kicked in the door and Trump said, I'm the only one who's going to bang 15-year-olds on this property, it would be so much more believable.
Yeah.
It would be.
Damn. Yeah.
you have to give Trump an element of scumbag in this just because we've all grown up with him.
Yeah, damn. It's it's it that's the crazy thing that we, the time and place we are with politics, where you had two presidents dealing with this Epstein guy. And I've come to view the whole Epstein saga, man, very, very different, man. I felt at one point super confident in all the information I had. This is one of the reasons why I started my little podcast many years ago. Was um, I felt I was somewhat well versed on it. I consumed a lot of info on it. I read a lot of stuff on it, kept up on the latest tidbits here and there. And so I was like, man, I might do my own damn podcast and give my own takes on it. Now, bro, I don't know what the fuck to believe, man. I don't know. You hear this, you hear Trump calling it a Democratic hoax, and then later it's the Democrats involved with Epstein, and he's not. He's an FBI informant, and like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know what to make of it, man. Are you in that same boat, or do you still feel somewhat confident in some prior assessments, or where are you at now?
So, okay, we've got multiple different what effectively amount to, Epstein lists, right? That have been out and circulating for a very, very, very long time. We're 10 years removed from Nick Bryant originally dropping the Black Book, right? That was 2015, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, think about, and I'm personally of the belief that something is being done with time and it's being sped up. And I know that, like, I'm getting older, and like is typically something that, people who aren't 20 say. But everybody I talk to, whether they're, my kids who are still 19, 12 years, between 19 and 12, or people that, are in their 30s or whatever, they're like, yeah, no, it's going way faster than it should be. There's something weird going on. And we've, with lockdown and a bunch of other crazy stuff, have experienced like multiple once in a lifetime psyops in a very short amount of time, compounded on each other, one right after the other, to the point to where most people are walking around like Drickus Duplessis when he had to fucking deal with an unhinged Chechen demon just a couple of weeks ago. We're like, all you
Yeah.
could do is sort of cover up and try not to get put to bed in a crucifix. And so I understand, I understand why people are frazzled. I get it, but we've had multiple incarnations of, quote unquote Epstein lists and connections that are very clear, that nobody's trying to deny, that go to major financial institutions, former heads of state, regardless of what country they're from, including a couple of very high profile ones from both the United States and Israel. There's people that have been put in jail for sex trafficking kids to nobody for apparently no reason, but they still got prosecuted and went to jail. Like, at this point, I know she's a horrible person, but I almost want to see Ghislaine Maxwell make the podcast rounds next year. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
coming. We'll sit down with Piers Morgan, Ghislaine Maxwell, or Candace, whatever narrative management tool they want to try to use for that. I think it's coming.
Well, remember, she did do a couple of TED Talks back in the day. She
Mm-hmm.
may be the new face of the Me Too movement, if they decide to bring that back. So you really can't rule anything out, man. That's the thing, dude. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. Even the whole Virginia Roberts afraid, like, what was her role? Did she really commit suicide? Was she taken out? Or was she another actor? I don't know anything, bro. And when I say I don't know, I honestly don't know what to make of it. as loony as some of these suggestions are, even the whole death and alleged suicide debate, I wouldn't. I lean more towards they they took him out. He got escaped, if you will. Um, I don't think that's preposterous at all at this point with the amount of nonsense that's gone on with Epstein. I mean, people forget that in the 1980s he was involved in that Tower Financial fraud case uh, worth over $500 million. His partner, Stephen Hoffenberg, received, I think it was 15, 17 years in prison. Meanwhile, Epstein, nothing happened to him. And he was the mastermind of that large Ponzi scheme. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, if you track his record that way, he was always getting out, always getting bailed out, always getting bailed out. And this whole idea, well, he knew the doors were closing in and that's why he decided to kill himself or this and that, I don't buy it, man. Now, granted, the powers that be have no problem smoking anyone, man. Let's just take them out. It's easier that way or whatever. But at the same time, you're talking about Epstein, who never really snitched on anyone. So, um, I don't know, man. And like I said, even if as I'm saying that, I still don't know what to make of it. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. The CCTV footage when they announced that was a whole crock of shit because
Oh,
they
it's
had told
terrible.
us, yeah, they had told us the cameras didn't exist and there was no footage. One of the cameras, the footage was mixed up with another camera and it was deleted on accident. Blah blah. So much runarounds, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Bongino comes out saying, "Oh yeah, we definitely have footage. We're just going to clean up the product." and dole it out. And it turns out that even mainstream rags are confirming that there was a lot of tampering with the footage that was doled out. So again, man, I don't know what to make of it anymore. I'm almost fed up with it, to be honest with you. And maybe that was the whole point of it. All
Well,
this
it's
bullshit.
I mean, the spending a couple of years with Trump surrogates on the campaign trail, because Trump himself was always really cagey and like non-committal about it. And anytime somebody would bring it up, he would do what Trump does, where he'll give like a partial sentence. Oh, we're looking at it. It's, of course, a lot of people are saying, a lot of people are interested. It's, but he'd never come out and be like, we're going to do this. He let literally everybody else, from his vice presidential pick to his son, and the entire media apparatus that existed around him, go, justice for Epstein victims. They spent a year and a half doing that. A setup like that, with the kind of, you know, lack of release that everyone's has received as a result of it, does seem like an intentional demoralization thing. It
Yeah,
really
man.
does.
It seems like it was a psyop within a goddamn psyop. you know?
Well, yeah, and that's what my buddy Rantcast, long may he reign supreme. Hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
Um, but that's what he would always describe it as, like a wedding cake of psyops, where it's just stacked on top of each other until all of a sudden you finally get to the little plastic figures at top. But it's just layer upon layer of psyops.
Yeah. Yeah, that's essentially where I'm at right now, man. I went from being super interested in every story that would come out, all things Epstein, to now I'm like, I don't. That sounds like more propaganda. That's more bullshit. I never once for a second believed that we were gonna get any fucking Epstein docs. Um, well, I take that back. When I first started getting into podcasts, and I still had some faith, and Epstein got arrested. I was like, oh my god, they actually arrested Epstein. We're gonna see justice, and I fell for it. I was like, god damn, they actually arrested the son of a bitch. Then when nothing happened, I was like, oh man, I got fucking fooled. And after that, ever since then, I I anytime they were gonna do this or do that, uh Epstein list getting released, I never fell for it. And so when I saw these MAGA tards, th- th- that whole campaign running on exposing pedophilia, exposing the elites that were involved in drug trafficking. As soon as Trump gets in office, forget about that shit. Don't talk about Epstein. It's just a Democratic hoax.
Bro, why are you bringing up old shit? Damn, what's wrong with
That's exactly
you?
what he's doing. Is that we should focus on the economy. Quit talking about the Epstein guy. I mean, that response was no different. Remember when Bill Gates was asked? I think it was on a PBS interview. About Epstein, and then Bill Gates laughs it off. Yeah, he's dead, so who cares?
Yeah,
I
Bill
mean,
Barr did the same thing.
yeah,
He was being interviewed by, I think, Lester Holt from CNN. And Bill Barr is just giddy as a freaking schoolgirl, being like, well, he's dead, so who cares? Bro, it was your dad who brought him on in the first place, Bill.
yeah,
There's no Jeffrey Epstein in the public eye without Bill Barr's dad plucking him out of obscurity and being like, yeah, sure, you're going to teach, I don't know, math, let's say at this, super high profile school without having any education credentials, without having, but hey, we're going to put you on, go to work for us, be a good earner, we'll take care of you.
yeah. And that's
It's
just how.
really street shit at a high level. It really is, dude. It's
Yeah,
just street hood ass shit at the ultimate level.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty much it. Now, what do you think? So early in the week, especially on X, there was a lot of reports about Trump possibly dying, and then showing that bruised hand and some images. Apparently, they have been deemed AI now, but we're showing him looking like the crypt keeper and so on and so forth. And then he comes out and plays golf and like, oh, there you go, you democrats, you guys were wrong. what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on all of that fiasco?
I think that, okay, number one, I don't think that you get into a position of perceived power like president of the United States or Congress critter without being a at least a passable actor. Most of these guys have representation with, UTA or CAA or whatever, the two big ad agencies. Most of these people know how to sell the bullshit. If they didn't, they wouldn't be good politicians. Donald Trump has been teaching master classes on how to manipulate the public for a very long time. And he's one of the, early and original reality TV kingpins. And we talked about this before, and people get very mad at me when I bring this up. But, he's a legitimate actor, been in a bunch of movies, in the World Wrestling Hall of Fame for being a pretend bad guy. They gave you the exact villain or anti-hero that you wanted. And then they're trying to turn the anti-hero into a hero. And there's a lot of disconnect there. But what it really comes down to is I if their lips are moving, I'm assuming they're lying. You know what I mean? And it's kind of up to us to figure out the minutia of all of it. But if you just take it as a given that somebody in a position of perceived power is shining you on, you're probably going to be better off than most of the country as far as that goes. It's a shitstorm of bullshit and lies for the most part. Entertaining, yes, absolutely. Worthy of mockery, 100%. Unlimited jokes abound in this universe. But if you're trying to take it straight on, and tackle the bullshit, you're at a disadvantage because everything to the immediate left and right of straight on is also bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I've said that before too, where there was a time in my life when I would look at some of these talking heads, these pundits, like Rachel Maddow. You can make fun of me all you want, but I used to be a big, giant Rachel Maddow fan. You know, I was like, man, she's spitting truth to those goddamn conservatives. And these
She
days, yeah.
she used to call drones flying killer robots when drones were relatively new on the scene.
Yeah,
And she called them flying killer robots because they
yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah.
And now she's like, we need to send more drones to Ukraine so that they can fucking take out those filthy commie bastards.
Yeah, it's crazy with a lot of these guys, and that's what I was trying to get at is I can't remember who I was speaking with. I was speaking with someone where, um, damn it, who was it? Oh, it was Ryan Krishon. He joins you on T Lab Tuesdays, but I was telling him that it seems like I don't know, maybe a decade ago, maybe 15 years ago, when you would watch the news, you felt like for the most part they were trying to tell you the truth. They weren't trying to pull a fast one on you. I mean, there was some partisan politics here and there, but that's what it felt like. And it seems like the game has shifted now to like full on partisan bullshit. You know, it seems like that scheme of trying to fool the masses with the mainstream media is no longer working, and this is where they're going with the polarization route instead. You know, it's left versus right. Um, and it was a it was somewhat of a clever move to try to portray Trump as some kind of outsider that's fighting the deep state. Same thing with RFK Jr. There's still a lot of people that have faith in RFK Jr. And so, in many ways, that's a clever ploy. What are your thoughts on all that?
Look, yes, of course, someone who grew up entrenched in New York politics and banking and the mafia, who's best buds with the Clinton, whose daughter is best friends with the Clinton's daughter to this day. Of course, that's a political outsider. How dare you assume that he's not, from basically the wilds of outer Mongolia? He's been fighting the system his entire life. Like, that's what they want people to believe. And then he gets in, he appoints all of the worst people, drained the swamp, took a skimmer to it, and put what was left in his cabinet, right? Just the bottom feeders of the entire swamp. He was like, yeah, these are my guys. And then they had 4 years of a different shit show to show people where they were like, well, I don't want that. I'd rather have what we had because I'm too stupid to see how history works or too busy to see how history works, or I don't care. I'd rather see Instagram titties. I would rather see AI
Ain't nothing
puppies
wrong with
fight. I
that.
would rather see a horse do a triple flip off a fucking diving board into a pool than I would pay attention to any of this shit.
Yeah.
So I understand why it happens.
I
Oh
wonder.
God, she has a Twitter account? I didn't even know.
So here's Chelsea Clinton's pinned tweet. Lies and conspiracies about my family and me are nothing new. Still, I am particularly troubled by the absurd claims that continue to pervade social media this week. Fact checks be damned. Facts. I am a proud of the Clinton Foundation work that has helped tens of millions of people worldwide. Our
Woo,
impact speaks for itself. I
that's
don't take a
bold.
cent from the foundation. Never have. In fact, my family personally contributes meaningfully to our work each year. Misinformation isn't just noise, it's a weapon. Efforts to undermine good work won't stop us, and we stand in solidarity with those who are committed to truth, public health, progress and the endless potential of our future. And she's basically saying that these are just conspiracy theories about her family and shit. Facts be damned. Yeah, facts like Jeff Epstein visiting the White House as a special guest at least 7 times that are documented.
17.
And Mark Middleton, the guy that oversaw a lot of these invitations, just so happens to commit alleged suicide with a extension cord wrapped around his neck and a shotgun 30 feet away from his body, and a shotgun blast to his chest as he hung himself. Those are just conspiracy theories, guys. There's nothing to it. Trust old Chelsea, man. It's insane, man. And the fact that there's still a lot of people that will buy that kind of shit. That's the scariest part of it all.
I'm never gonna get an opportunity to do this, but I would love to find myself in a room with Chelsea Clinton just to ask her, hey, how come you look so much like Webb Huell? It's odd to me how you have none of the characteristics of either your mother or your father, but you seem to be a carbon copy of Webb Huell. That's weird. That's weird. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever asked yourself, Chelsea, why you don't look like anyone else in your family?
How do you spell Huell?
Huell.
You said Webb.
You.
God, I can't find it.
Here, I'll grab it.
I want to see this guy. you got me pondering.
Oh, I'm sorry, Webb Huell. I'm
okay.
I'm a little high today. Hubbell. Maybe it's Hubble. I don't know.
Hubbw? Wait, what?
Hubbell.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hu.
Oh. God damn it.
Hubbell. Webb Hubble. He was a longtime Clinton advisor and aide. And just so happens to look identical to
there's some images that come up, so let's see. I never heard this one. That's interesting.
Oh man, no, I mean, look, we were all okay with the fact that she was, less than stunning and perhaps just a punching bag for right-wing media, right? Nobody really looked at the potential of her not necessarily being Bill Clinton's daughter. She doesn't really she's got shades of Hillary there, but most of her features belong to that dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see Billy Ballbag in there at all. Yeah, I don't know if I'm particularly sold, but I can definitely see why
I believe
go there.
In a place called the Cuck Chair. It's the finest chair that you could have in the Lincoln bedroom. Never sat in a finer piece of furniture. Watching other people bawl my old lady.
And what do you think of what the hell was that hood rat, that Mossad agent, that 20-year-old Mossad agent on Bill Clinton?
Oh, Monica,
yeah, Monica
Lewinsky. Yeah.
She it seems like she's made a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah, a little bit of a turnaround in the era of podcasting. Dude, if Sammy the Bull Gravano has a podcast, why the fuck wouldn't Monica Lewinsky?
Yeah. Good point.
I guarantee you, Sammy the Bull's podcasts are way more fun than Monica's.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to ask you, not too long ago, Donald Trump was asked if he would pardon Diddy. and it sounded like Trump was flirting with the idea, but because Diddy wasn't too nice to him, he might not give him a pardon. What kind of a fucking? I mean, it's because he wasn't nice to him. You don't fuck all the other shit. You don't fuck the crimes, that he committed, all that other stuff. It was just because he wasn't nice to me when I
Yeah,
ran for president.
yeah.
It's a goddamn joke, man. What are your thoughts on that?
If the fight Wheezy is trust fund kid versus trust fund kid, you're gonna see that part come up. Well, they didn't support me when I wanted support, and so therefore, I don't even know this person. They said bad things about me, and I only ever put them on. Like, that's the game they play. But the game that they're really playing is, we all know we're compromised. We all know we're horrible fucking human beings. So I'm gonna do everything in my power to position myself to where when a fall happens, I'm standing up here and you're standing down there. And it
Yeah,
feels like that's what Trump and Diddy both did to each other, because they were, for a number of years, frequently photographed together. Oh, he's my good friend. Oh, I love this guy, all that kind of stuff. And then when the script called for something different, it was something different.
yeah.
And the way the chips fell, Jay-Z has 2.8 billion dollars. Diddy is ruined, and Trump is the president. So who do you think is feeling like they got the shitty script at this point?
Mm, mm. I
Because
don't
it
know if
could have gone another way. It really could have.
I don't know if using the term or pun, who got the shit end of the stick would really be appropriate in this particular case. But yeah, man. Let's see. So this is from the Sarajevo Times. Never heard that shit,
Sarajevo.
but Donald Trump stated that it would be difficult for him to pardon rapper Sean Diddy Combs, who was recently found guilty on 2 counts of organizing prostitution. Although it is not known yet what sentence he will receive, Diddy has requested temporary release from custody until sentencing on October 3rd. But it appears he will remain behind bars until then. Trump, who in the past pardoned various public figures such as rapper NBA Youngboy accused of firearm possession and reality TV couple Todd and Julie Chrisley, convicted of tax fraud, was now asked whether he would do the same for Diddy. Although he admitted that they got along well at one time, he added that the relationship cooled significantly when he entered politics and became president of the United States. We were on friendly terms. He seemed like a good guy. But as soon as I ran for office, he became very hostile, Trump said in an interview. Um, so yeah, man, it sounds like, had he been nice, had he worn a MAGA hat, hell yeah, man, I'd pardon him. I'd break him off with a little pardon. You know what I'm saying? Break off your old boy. I mean, if you're a MAGA guy, how do you hear something like that and you're still cool with it, or it doesn't phase you? I I don't understand it,
How do
man.
you square the circle that Trump has done more in terms of pardoning prevalent figures in the hip hop community than he did any of the J6ers?
Yeah, yeah, damn good point right there.
He pardoned Fallujah war criminals before he pardoned J6ers. The people who actually thought they were showing up to fight for him, he let rot in jail. And the people who were just out there fucking Kodak Black, like, bro, Kodak
Uh,
Black got a pardon.
yeah, man, everything is just upside down, man. Up is down, down is up, and that seems to be the way things are going. You did a show earlier in the week regarding ChatGPT being a snitch. A lot of people are using ChatGPT. I will admit I have been guilty of using it from time to time, and uh, Seven Seas has been vocal about people in the truth community using Chat GPT, and I agree with him. Same thing with the lovely Missy. She feels the same way. Where that's exactly what the technocrats want us to get used to. Just rely on AI. AI makes things so much easier. Just 100% rely on it. And for those people that have gotten comfortable already, you're falling into that trap. And like I said, I'm not an angel. I've used it from time to time for to fuck around with, but it turns out you can go to jail if you get a little too comfortable with your Chat GPT conversations. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, a couple of things have happened to OpenAI and Sam Altman's, business enterprise over the last couple of months. One was a pretty high profile. We're on YouTube, right? A high profile unaliving, self deletion, whatever garbage baby words we have to use on YouTube so the overlords don't ban you. From describing a very real, very serious situation. But there was a 14 or 15-year-old kid who had self-deleted because of encouragement from ChatGPT. There was another guy who unalived his family because of ChatGPT. And so Altman had to come out and say, okay, look, we're as a platform scraping all of these conversations, and if anything comes up that runs afoul of the law, we're going to report it immediately. And to answer fuck you pal's question, yes, Poikonen is finished. Yes. I'm trying to grab an article because it may even still be up in my tabs. I have a handful of different resources for this. Let's just try the search.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, and if we're being honest, the AI, if you've used it at all at any time, it does make things easier. It really does. But that's the whole point of it. When you get used to easy shit, and then when you have to do things, when you have to work for things a little bit more, you're like, that's too hard. Why don't I just use AI? That'll do the job. It's wild, and that's the direction we're heading with everything. You have, when you call, for example, your Verizon phone service because you suspect nefarious activities going on. They put you on AI. Tell us what you need, and they force you to use AI, to use their whole system. I've talked about how I'm a CDL driver, and for many years, I mean, I've been driving for 16 years, and then I want to say like maybe 10 years ago or whatever, they started using more cameras, but those cameras would really kick in if you hit the brakes too hard, or maybe you did a turn too quick. There would be triggers to set those cameras up.
Yeah.
And then in the last, in the last year, maybe in the last couple of years, a lot of these companies have switched over to AI cameras. And a lot of times these companies use cameras for insurance purposes. By getting these cameras, they get discounts, and so it saves the company's money by and large. But when you have these AI cameras looking at you, you literally have Big Brother watching you. These AI programs are trained to scan your eyes, and if you're looking down or you're yawning, they report you. They snitch on you if you start yawning. Little shit like that. If you're looking in one direction, because when you have your CDL, they tell you got to be moving your eyes, you got to be scanning your mirrors, your da 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 da. And if you're not doing it, it'll snitch on you for that. And so it's fucking annoying these days to drive, man, because long gone are the are the times where you could drive all day. You're working 14, 15, 16-hour days, but you're fucking around on the phone and whatever, and it makes your day go quicker. And now, nah, you're as a driver now dealing with this shit. I almost feel like a fucking robot, bro. It's like just boom, eyes on the road, whatever. And sure, eh, and I to an extent, I get it, man. Unfortunately, it always takes those fucking idiots to fuck it up for everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Um, it,
Well, here's the convergence, and here's what's fucked up because a whole bunch of H-1B visas and kind of fly by night certification agencies have put a bunch of new drivers on the road that don't really haven't grown up driving here, don't really have a feel for the roads, don't even have a feel for the machines that they're piloting. And that creates chaos, havoc, accidents, money being spent on the part of the company, money being spent on the part of people that get caught up in it. And it's one of those problem reaction solution scenarios that ultimately are supposed to drive the public to demand driverless vehicles that are on complete and total autopilot that and eliminate the human element in all of it. So this is the article that we showed on AM Wake Up earlier this week. It is from
futurism.
the end of August, late August, out of this year, out of Futurism, where OpenAI, the manufacturer of ChatGPT, was forced to admit that they report content to the police. Yeah, like we all knew they would, but they said they weren't.
Yeah,
because they're duplicitous, lying sacks of, absolute fucking garbage.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, it's fucking scary, man. Because how many people have Alexas in their room, or not in the room, but in their house? A lot of people are going with, I've got a smart house now. I can close my garage door while I'm not there, via my smart appliance. And I've got a smart fridge. I got a smart, everything is smart and everything is AI.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're essentially snitching on yourself. You're putting cameras on your own damn self, if you really think about it that way.
Oh, yeah. And no, I'm the same way that like all of the other, large scale trucking companies and even independent drivers who have to contract through a corporation, it's the same thing with Amazon. Like they're tracking you all the time, and they have a point system, and or maybe even like a demerit type thing, right? Remember fucking growing up in school and fucking getting demerits or whatever. You got enough,
Yeah.
you were fucking getting your ass beat or you were thrown out. Those were your two options. Yeah. Take a freaking paddle with holes drilled in it or fucking get kicked out of school. And yeah, and Amazon will cut you loose if you have enough points against you. They're like, oh, well, you responded in an inappropriate manner, or you hesitated here where you should have done this, blah, blah. And they're just, it's a third party, or it's basically like having the worst supervisor in your life in your vehicle with you at all times, just breathing into your ear while you're driving.
Yeah.
I can't fucking imagine. Yeah, I've driven, I don't know, big trucks, not semis. I've operated heavy equipment. I'm not a heavy equipment operator. Like, I want to make that very clear. Like, just because a motherfucker gets in a Bobcat and shit like that doesn't mean that they can, bunny hop it over a fucking cliffside and land perfectly. There are people that are vastly more skilled at this than me, and they deserve all the money they get. Yeah, that's you know, but I've been in these. Yeah, I learned how to drive a fucking tractor when I was 10, dog. Like it's it's a part of me. I understand it, and I understand how brutal, demoralizing, and just ineffective I would be as an employee if I had someone literally hot breath in my ear the entire time I'm behind the wheel. I'd be nerve wracking as fuck, man.
It sucks, dude, because um it just takes away the fun of driving, period.
Yeah,
You know?
and
Like,
it's supposed to be fun.
yeah, you literally feel like a fucking robot. Unfortunately, though, again, I was gonna tell you, I've been at so many jobs. I've trained a lot of motherfuckers, and sometimes they give CDL to people that should never have a fucking
Yep.
CDL. I've seen people at training that can't even back up their own personal fucking vehicles, but somehow they claim that they had 30 years of CDL experience and they can't even back up their own fucking four-cylinder car. And as I've, like I said, I've got 16 years of CDL experience, and I've trained a lot of motherfuckers. I can drive just about any fucking truck you put me in, and if I don't know how to drive it, I'm one of the quickest learners you'll come across. And whenever I've trained people, my very first telltale sign if this is going to be a good dude, and it doesn't matter what line of business or whatever it is, if they can back up a truck perfect on the money, no, like, oh, I got to reset. Oh, I got to reset. No, perfect. I'm telling you, I want this fucking truck right here. Get it right the first time. Boom. And if you can do that, you're gonna be okay at the job. But if you're fucking struggling and I now got to reset and like, this guy's not gonna get it. This guy's and that as a instructor, as someone that has trained a lot of motherfuckers over the years, as soon as I see that, I'm like, yeah, this guy's not gonna do it. He's not gonna make it.
Let me tell you something, man.
Yeah.
I went from uh driving a 1990 Ford Econoline 350 Santa Fe edition van. It was the Santa Fe edition. It was beautiful. With a 32-foot Holiday Rambler travel trailer that was built in 1974 attached to it. I drove this fucking thing with 10,000 pounds of leather in the trailer because we were hauling stock. And we're just, taking it to the next show. I drove that without sway bars across country multiple times. Never had a problem. Bagging that bitch in anywhere but I had complete control. It probably should have gone worse for me. This is hilarious, dude. I can't tell you how many times I've watched this thing. Just going, end it. Just get out and go ahead and take care of yourself because you don't deserve to be behind the wheel. I'll tell you what though, Weezy. I went from a 32-foot travel trailer to a little short Toyota pickup, and I had on the back of it somebody's like hunting trailer that they flipped the axle on so it would ride higher so you could get it over creeks and stuff like that. And the wild difference between mellowly maneuvering a very large trailer on the ass end of you into a space to something that is axle flipped and has a very different turning radius, that's a learning curve. And you fuck up on that a lot. You get it pretty quick, but you're like, oh, 1/16 of an inch is 10 feet one way or the other. This is wild, dude. It's a
but the more you do it, that's the same with anything. The more hours, the drive time that you put, that shit becomes easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you get some basics. And to me, like that's what I was saying when I train someone. If I can see them back up and they do an exquisite job, I'm like, this guy's gonna be all right. But if they're struggling like this motherfucker, if you're listening on podcast format, what's the timestamp? Timestamp is exactly 1 hour. At the 1 hour mark, I'm going to show a video of someone trying to parallel park a smart car. The smart car is probably what, 8 feet long? 8 feet long, and he's gonna try
Oh,
to
max.
max 8 feet long, but he's gonna try to back up into a parking spot that's probably 40 feet. So
We need
an
the
8 foot.
Benny Hill music for this.
Oh, I better lower it for copyright purposes, but so here we go. Look at that. Here we go. He's trying to back up. Turn the fucking wheel now. Dude, I was getting crazy. So, first attempt, wrong. Now I'm going to go reset. And he goes way the fuck out there. So, here's a life hack, guys. Okay. Right there. When your back wheel matches the back end of the car you're trying to parallel park against, you fucking cut the wheel the other way. You'll back in perfectly each and every fucking time. The key point is your rear tire, not the back of your car, because some of them have that trunk or whatever. It's the back tire matching up with the very end part of the vehicle you were trying to parallel park. You cut the fucking wheel the other way. Boom. Should have been parked right here. And so let's let it roll. This is a second attempt. What the fuck, dude? He hasn't even cut it yet. But now he decides to cut it. Oh boy.
Way different than my golf cart.
Oh my god, dude.
Just
So here,
drive away at that point. Bro, you and I could park a freaking Ford F-350 with a boat in that space.
oh fuck yeah, dude. Easily. My roll-off truck, I got a 40-foot roll-off truck. I would have parked this bitch in there. First try around. It'd be tight as fuck, but I'd get it in there. And here he goes down off the fucking hill. And you could tell he fucked it up. Watch.
Like, how do you even do that? How do you manage to get it downhill from there?
Now, I'm normally anti-state. I'm not for the state. However, in this particular case, take the motherfucker's license, bro. You should not have a license.
Yeah, there should be an intervention.
That is pathetic, dude. I saw that earlier this week. And I was pulling my foot. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Get it right.
I learned how to parallel park in the city of Chicago in the mid 1990s, where if you both of your right hand tires weren't just married to the curb, somebody would come along and clip off your side view mirror.
Yeah.
Happened all the time. Nobody reported it. There was nothing the police were going to do about it anyway. They're going to be like, well, you shouldn't have parked like a fucking idiot. You know? And that was going to be the entire story.
Yeah. Mr. GT Vanek says he could have just driven into that spot. Why the hell is he backing in?
He could have just cut it right past the car that was going to be behind him, and then maybe if you really needed to, if you wanted to be a vainglorious prick about it, you could have like set your car gently directly against the curb in one fell fucking swoop and have been done with it.
Yeah, man. I don't know. That's why, for me, when I see someone that can't back up, I finished my cement stint. I did some cement ready mix driving for a month. It was funny because I only did it for 30 days, and then when I found out about my dad and I had to go visit him, I put in my 2 weeks notice. Like, you just trained. But I picked it up super quick. They were like, God damn, you picked it up quick. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I'll learn anything real fast. But one of the guys that got hired with me, he couldn't back up a fucking ready mix truck. And these things are small, man. I was driving 40 footers,
Yeah,
fucking 14 and a half feet tall. And so for me, a cement truck is tiny.
it's like what,
Base
26 feet, something like that.
some shit like that. But I mean, comparatively speaking to other vehicles I've driven, it was a
Yeah,
lot smaller.
no,
And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
yeah,
little.
and when you drive a ready mix truck, you got to get under the chute. It's one truck at a time. You got to get under it so they load you up with your cement mix that you're supposed to carry. And the way when you load up, you have to get in perfect so that your chute on the back of your ready cement truck gets all the cement inside the truck. If you're not directly under it or you're too far ahead or whatever, it's just going to spill all over the fucking place. So you got to be perfect each and every time. So a lot of guys have markings on the ground that they look for so they know what to look for when they're backing up. But this new guy, fuck, dude, he would start backing up, almost crashed into the cement barrier to the side, pull up, back up, kind of like the smart car type of shit. It was the same thing, but in a fucking cement mix. And this motherfucker allegedly on his resume said he had 30 years of CDL experience driving tractor trailers. And I don't know where the fuck he got a CDL license because there's no fucking way he had 30 years of driving experience when he couldn't back up a fucking cement truck.
I drove it was a 1976 Chevy C60, right? And it was a dump bed, but also a lift bed, scissor lift. I would have to take this thing to the dumps all the time, doing a lot of property clearing, stuff like that. It had the most generous turning radius I've ever been in a vehicle in my entire life. Like, you could feather it and just make this be perfect. And it really wasn't that hard to get your head around. We put a kid who grew up backing fire trucks into the fire station because his dad was the local fire chief. So, of course he's going to let his kid drive around the trucks a little bit. Small town, middle of the mountains, nobody's really keeping tabs. It's all right,
Just some good old boys, never
Yeah, it
meant
is.
any
It's good old boy
harm.
shit. It really is. That's redneck shit right there. It is.
Oh, yeah.
But if you tried to put him in the pig and he went to go back it up because there weren't the 50,000 mirrors and camera, he didn't know what he was doing. He had no feel for what he was doing. And that's a huge disconnect, I think, in terms of like current drivers from, a little bit older school drivers. They've got no actual muscle memory for what they're doing. They're all just reading right off of a camera, and they're letting something else but them do the work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I, you know,
Situational awareness, man. I really think it comes down to that. Like, actually having an understanding of the landscape, especially if you're on a construction site, there's uneven ground, shit like that. You're gonna dip down at one point, you've got to come back up a little bit, so you've got to overcorrect to undercorrect in order to straight, like, all that kind of stuff. That's muscle memory, and people aren't getting that when they're being guided by AI, or they're being guided by a camera, or there's somebody in their ear telling them what to do. You eliminate the human's ability to perform at a high level by supplementing all of the fucking thinking.
yeah. Um, I also think there's that human element too, where you got just knuckleheads that don't use or exercise common sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I think partially that could be a factor motivator. I mean, I was working I was working for this fucking company, and this fucking Italian immigrant, uh, nice guy, but dumber than a fucking box of rocks, bro. He's like, ah, mamma mia, and fucking 5-inch Coke bottle glasses, that kind of shit. Straight from Italy. Cool guy, man. Funny guy, but he should have never had his fucking CDL, man. He was always fucking shit up, clipping this, clipping that. The final straw, bro. It was they showed us his accident as a learning tool. And so in the drive cam, he's at a fucking red light, bro. He has like 10, 15 feet. He's parked good at a red light. He's got 10, 15 feet of following distance between him and the other car. He had his little lunch pail on the passenger side. He starts fucking around, and the car or the truck is slowly creeping up. It was like a fucking scary movie, dude. All it needed, da 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 da, and boom, he fucking hits the car in front of him. He's like, ah, mamma mia, mamma mia. Dude, oh man, you never want to see someone fired, but dude, I about shit my pants with laughter, dude. It was the funniest fucking firing.
There's nothing you can do other than that, my dude. You can't. You just got to be like, oh, well, that's your job. Dang, bro. Sorry.
Thank you for the last one, man. That was good. Yeah, dude. But I mean, over the years, I've run into a bunch of fucking idiots, bro, that should never had their license. And so I think going back to the whole AI cameras, which is what led to this conversation to begin with, I think, and it may sound sacrilegious to say this, but I can kind of understand it to an extent.
You want to correct human fuckery. That's what AI is. It's trying to implant itself in order to solve problems that are only created by human error. I get it. I do. It's why we have drill presses. It's why we have all kinds of fancy machines that like bend wood and metal and fucking, do spot welds and shit like that, because people will fuck up on that. I understand it. The way that I explain it is this, dude. Take something like a skill saw, okay? Standard circular saw. Everybody's seen one, I think. Hopefully, I don't know if you pee standing up. Hopefully, you've seen one.
I like to sit down when I pee.
Yeah, and I've heard that from a lot of inmates. Yeah, but because you have to, because you don't want to get pissed on the floor.
I suffered a hardcore prolapse back in my day.
But there have been 2 changes to the skill saw since they invented it. Modifications. One, they put a blade guard on it. We're like, maybe this will result in less injuries and missing fingers, and shop teachers being like, I've taught shop for 5 years, and we're good, So they put a blade guard on it, and then somewhere around like 2012, they were like, let's make some of the parts a little bit more lightweight so that you don't have to throw a 7-pound tool over your back while you climb up a ladder. Maybe we'll make it a 4-pound tool. Maybe that'll be a little bit nicer for people, but that's it. Overall, the design hasn't changed at all. Nothing about the mechanics of maneuvering a vehicle has changed at all in terms of like what you need to know and the basic skill set that you have to operate this particular piece of equipment. What's changed is we're now placating idiots in order to meet some sort of quota that's like, we can still continue to operate as this company because we hired on a bunch of idiots who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. 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 100%, man. I did want to bring up the Grok AI. Grok, for those that may not be familiar, is the AI machine for Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X, I suppose. And it's been crazy watching Elon Musk from time to time trying to showcase what Grok can do. Like just hold and press, the button there, and you can get AI videos now. And a lot of these are like fucking cartoon animated teenage chicks with big old titties, like what? I mean, borderline pedophilic type of shit, bro. And
Yeah.
and then I just read the comments and like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? And then next tweet is like, oh yeah, SpaceX is launching a, a rocket, and we're like, yeah, hoorah! It's like, and then like a few tweets later, yeah, look what Grok can do, and more cartoon teen titties on display. What the fuck is happening there, bro?
We've been infantilizing men for 50 years as a culture. When you infantilize men and you demonize everything that is, masculine, you take away the ability for people to uh, have frank conversations about the world or interpersonal relationships, let alone raising children and shit like that. When you remove a very key component to a delicate balance, things go really fucking wrong. And I think that we're seeing a manifestation of that because of it. I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
No, I hear you out, man. It's it's very concerning, man, because I got got a couple teenagers at home,
Yeah.
and I see them play these Japanese, um I guess they call them anime, I suppose. And I used to watch my good amounts of porn back in the day, and I remember the hentai porn. So when I see this anime stuff, I'm like, what the fuck is this hentai? Which is like Japanese cartoon porn. Um,
Yeah, it's
and
fucking
you just
octopus dicks and shit, right?
yeah, dude, you see these, they're animated, I guess, so I guess it's okay, but what look like fucking 10-year-old, 12-year-old animated cartoon girls like getting getting their shit pushed in, for lack of a better term. But it's and I feel in a way that's to normalize
Mm-hmm.
this pedophilia stuff that they're trying to push, man. And that's how you get them. You get them young. You get the kids young. You make it into a fun video game that's engaging, and they don't even realize they're getting indoctrinated. And before, and so maybe that 12-year-old animated cartoon is like the same age as the 12-year-old boy playing it. And then fast forward 10 years, now that's a 22-year-old, 24-year-old thinking, oh, yeah, I still like 12-year-old cartoon chicks. I don't know, man.
Well,
It's
and
fucking
then you've
wild.
got a whole fucking industry where look, I'm not going to be very careful, very very careful here. Um, there are people who have historically been involved in the pornography industry who definitely do not have the best interests of this country, the United States or Canada or wherever you live. I'm assuming they don't have the best interests of your country in mind. And there's been a very long standing, ongoing operation to turn the people who are historically best suited to rise up against this kind of bullshit into captured elements of a society that they never signed up for and don't belong to. And so we're seeing this play out right now with the AI nonsense, where replacement rate, right? The general rate of births to deaths has flipped so drastically with the introduction of this kind of bullshit that now people aren't making babies anymore. They're not even talking to each other. Tease Snyder and I talk about this frequently, where a ridiculous amount of people, a majority of young men ages 18 to 25, haven't approached a woman in 2 years, don't know how to talk to them, don't know how to approach them, and they're constantly being fed, here's an imaginary, quote unquote, perfect AI bitch who'll do whatever but suck your dick. And they're developing technology so that a lonely 19-year-old can plug into some shit and feel that, rather than ever having a real world experience. This is about the total collapse of civilization from any pocket that could stand up to the bullshit, period. And they're doing exactly what you alluded to earlier. They're getting them while they're fucking kids, and they're getting them used to it. And so you've got an AI companion now. Let's say it started in 2022 and you were 11 years old. By the time you're legally old enough to go to a bar, and certainly after you're old enough to join a military, the predominant relationship that you've had in your life is with someone who has never and will ever exist.
Yeah.
That's how you capture people.
Yeah.
You make
Get 'em
them
young.
believe in the make believe, and then you demonize everything that's real, and you make that seem like it's somehow abhorrent to, I don't know, natural law or whatever culture you were brought up in. It's, I don't know. I think about this shit a lot, dude. It bugs me.
Yeah, man. Definitely agree. It's it's troubling on so many levels, man. Especially if you have your kids of your own. You know, what how are they going to be influenced? I see my kids really hooked on the VR bullshit. I don't even fuck with that. It's not fun to me, but I watch them and observe them, and they're like, "Oh, it's so real, Dad. It's like this." I'm like, "No, it's not, man. Let's go out to the fucking beach. Let's go outside. Let's get some fresh air, man."
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and unfortunately, that gives them a huge dopamine hit, and they get addicted
Mhm.
to that shit, and it's hard to fucking pull them out. So probably the best course of action is keep them away from that shit as long as you can. You know, um, it 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 just poisons their minds in so many ways. It makes them think that this virtual world is real, and it's more fun than real life. You know what I mean? I growing up, our modes of fun, and I had a conversation with my cousin last week. I uploaded it, and we were just talking about we would go to Mexico. And my cousins were half white, so they were white dudes in Mexico and shit. But we grew up as brothers. Dude, we'd go out cow tipping. We'd put fucking fireworks and cow shit and watch them blow up. We'd go fucking um, we tip over alcoholic bums. If there was a bum like hella drunk, we'd go around fucking with them. Um, in in the little town where we grew up, there was the town pedophile,
Uh-huh.
and the town pedophile was kind of retarded, like mentally retarded. He wasn't like completely normal, so that's kind of why he got a pass. But he'd always like make passes at little girls, and like it was just kind of funny. But we'd fuck around with him, and we just have adventures, man. I told my cousin when I think back at our childhood, it was like the Sandlot gang. We would just go around like it was four of us, and we just go in our little gang of four, just fucking causing all kinds of fucking problems, doing all kinds of Dennis the Menace type of shit, and that was a lot of fucking fun, man.
Yeah, it
Um,
was.
and at times I'm like, damn, I'm surprised we didn't get more fucked up. Like we could have fell off some high elevations or really fucked each other up, in many different ways. But it was a lot of fucking fun, man. And now these kids these days, if they had the opportunity to stay in their fucking room with a piss bottle and a shit bucket, they'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, man.
It really does. Like it wilds me out, dude. When I think that like you were a consistently bullied, just, queer bait fucking nothing if you weren't outdoors every day defying death, or at least doing something that would get you serious bodily injury every day. And the only way you got cool points is if you pulled it off. If you broke your arm or broke your collarbone or freaking, snapped a femur in the middle of a stunt. Oh, dude. Yeah, we'll sign your cast, but you're a fucking idiot. You should have done it better. Everybody else in the fucking neighborhood managed to land that shit. How come you couldn't? And like that was how we judged shit even 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, when I really think about it. And even the whole left right bullshit, growing up, the left was the funny folks. And it was the right that was more like the crybabies and pulling for censorship, and then it just goes back and forth. Now it seems like that's being done on purpose, man, to pussify the people. Why do you think that's happening?
Because we have to be at our weakest and most vulnerable to have a strong man come in and fix everything, solve everything. So even while they're trying to prop up, like at least on the MAGA right, like the whole Maha thing, okay, that's an attempt to get people to move away from a food system that really has poisoned people. It's an attempt to move people away from a pharmaceutical mafia that has outwardly, visibly destroyed lives. But what they're replacing it with is something significantly worse. And that's the AI shit that we just talked about. There's no, at the leadership of the nation level, anyone going, you guys could just do this by yourselves, right? You don't need us. You don't need government. You don't need a corporation going. All you have to do is touch grass, walk around a little bit, maybe work out some, and fucking figure it out. No, nobody in power is telling you that. It's all you need. It's the only shit that you need. You need good, clean food. You need regular exercise, and you need to not be so sucked into their bullshit, which usually only exists online, in order to have a very happy, very healthy life. But everything that we're being shown is, if you're not sucked into this dumb shit, you're not even here. And so it's almost like the high school mean girls have taken over, and they've manifested themselves in Donald Trump or Nancy Pelosi or Gavin Newsom or JD Vance or Peter Thiel or any of these other clowns. They're all a bunch of high school mean girls, where if anybody put their fucking business front and center, they'd have no power. None. Because they're all horrible people. But because of the position of power they exist in, nobody wants to call them out. And then when you do, you're a batshit crazy conspiracist. You're, trying to create problems. You're not going along to get along. In fact, you might be making people on the Union of the Unwanted cry.
Damn, bro, you're gonna get a disinvite. Um,
It's already happened.
yeah,
I've been disinvited a number of times. I was disinvited before you were. And then
I'm
again.
I think I'm perma banned at this point. I went against the old sacred cow, formerly known as Jason Burmis. But it's funny, man. I did receive a few people reaching out like, dude, I am now a follower of yours because you fucking ripped him a new one. Like, good. I'm glad I could be of service. Yeah, man. That's the other concerning thing, man. Uh, we've been talking about it. I've been talking about it, and you have as well. Where this quote unquote alternative media is being played as well. You know, um, a lot of people in the quote unquote alternative media distrust mainstream stuff. So that's why they're in the alternative media. That's like your Joe Rogans, your Tim Pools, people along those fucking lines. The fucking Hodge twins, um, clowns of that nature. Your Nick Fuenteses and such. And little do they realize a lot of those guys are, I've done shows, called PSYOP influencers. And so it's just getting harder and harder to tell who is giving you straight dope, who is feeding you propaganda, whether they are knowingly doing it or unknowingly. There's a character, a female character that's a regular guest on Union of the Unwanted, which I will not say her name, who's always spewing pro-Trump propaganda bullshit, and she repeatedly gets invited on. But if I talk shit about Trump or question the assassination, no, you can't do it. Can't do it.
Well,
And
look,
it's frustrating, bro. The Union of the Unwanted. What happened there? I've already been banned, so I don't give a fuck. But it's become the union of the fucking normies at this point. And you don't have to agree with me. That's just my thoughts on it.
it, the Union of the Unwanted happened during COVID. And there were a lot of people. In fact, everybody that gets invited onto that show got COVID right. That seems to be the end of the litmus test as far as that goes. Then there's a secondary element that comes into play, which is, I would imagine that the people who started it want it to be a successful show and want people to watch it. If you want people to watch it, unfortunately, in the era that we live in, you have to pander to a number of different things. The problem is you named the show Union of the Unwanted and you brought in a bunch of unhinged fucking savages along with the people who read the writing on the wall and were like, oh, well, this is going to go bad for the people in power. So it's advantageous to me to speak, against the people in power. So
Yeah.
there's an element of the show that would like the unhinged savages in there. There's an element of the show that is like, I want to protect my livelihood, my YouTube channel, and I would like to go ahead and continue doing this for the money I get without having to do anything else. And so both of those things are smashing against each other. And the element that wins more often than not is, let's do the placating and pandering and hopium peddling in order to have another show next week. And you already have a full-time job. I can go get one tomorrow. You know,
Yeah.
we have real world skills that we're doing this out of love. We're doing this out of passion. We're doing this because we feel compelled on a level to speak to it. It's not because we want an invite to Mar-a-Lago. It's not because we want to go speak at the fucking limited hangout fucking influencer conference. It's not because we want the wellness company deals or the fucking big ass ad revenue. We're real motherfuckers talking our shit because we live it every day.
Yeah.
So there's going to be conflict there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
don't
get
have a
what you're saying.
nicer way to fucking put it. I have a lot of meaner ways to put it, but I'm not going to do that.
I get you, man. Yeah, it's just tricky. And I don't think you have too many people that I personally feel that are really, really in it for the right reasons. And part of the reason is there's no money in it. You know, there's more
Oh yeah,
money
truth
in
don't pay.
pandering. Yeah, there's more money in pandering
I'll
to
take whatever you want to drink.
partisan politics and whatnot.
Water and
And that's the state of the union that we are in. Um, what did you have any other top news stories maybe that we may have missed, or um any of the latest stuff happening? I think we touched a lot of them at the very beginning, but these were great little side topics as well. And I'm only bringing that up because, like I said at the very beginning, I just had a lot of fucking shit on my mind, and it's been hard to really, really zero in on what's happening.
you know what, man? There's a couple of different things. Um, I would like to know your opinion on just if we can take like a break from the serious shit to go to something kind of comical.
Yeah.
Um, I want to know if you think uh Brigitte Macron is a dude or not.
Yeah. Uh, I think there are compelling arguments. There's a guy that follows me. I think he's been following me forever, man. And he's always like tagging me on Twitter. I ignore it, whatever. So he might be listening to this. Yeah, I ignore your shit. But he's always tagging me like, tell Corey Hughes Macron is not a fucking dude. Tell Corey Hughes this. I'm like, bitch, you fucking tell Corey Hughes that. Don't be tagging me to do what you want to say. But
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that, man. It's kind of like that psyop cake that you brought up earlier, man. Like, is that? I mean, I see some of these conspiracy leaning Twitter handles where every fucking person that put like, what do you notice here? What do you, every single fucking chick is a fucking dude according to some of these guys. I'm like, get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here, man. Not everyone is a fucking dude. Now, there's a lot of sketchy motherfuckers that could very well be dudes. So I don't know what to make of the whole Brigitte Macron, but it sounds like you got something ready to pull up,
Well,
right?
I think that we we occasionally watch watch Candace. Um, she just came out with a new show, and she made a very good point as far as that goes, where she was like, "Look, dude, if I said you Wheezy used to be a woman, and I gave you the name of the woman you used to be, and you were not that woman, and that woman existed, why wouldn't I be being sued by that person? How come I'm not getting sued by Jean-Luc or whatever? How come I'm only getting sued by Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron? Why am I not getting sued for defamation by the person that I've specifically called out in every single one of my reports? And I was like, oh, well, shit, that actually makes sense. I think that's fair. I would also like to get your opinion on the kerfuffle that took place on the InfoWars show over the
Mm.
last week with Owen Schroyer stepping down and stepping away, and the shit fit that Alex Jones threw as a result. Did you see any of that?
I I glanced at it. I don't. I know people were siding with Owen Schroyer, and some people were appalled at Alex Jones' um, treatment and his behavior. But I'm like, in my opinion, they're both fake as hell, man. Recap what happened because I really didn't focus too much in it. I just kind of dismissed it. I did see it, but I didn't really zero in on what was going on.
Okay. Well, here we'll start. I guess we'll start with Alex.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I'll drop this in the private chat because Owen went on. I don't know. He did a 5 hour live stream where it was, I never wanted to do this, and Alex has never been anything but good to me, and I love him, and that we went into the Millennium Falcon together. That's what he said. Those are his exact words.
All right. Let's reset, put some volume up on this.
So, I mean, he took Snake to the next level. So, Owen Schroyer's dead to me. If he goes on air and repents to Jesus and apologizes for being demon possessed or whatever it is he is, then I will forgive him. But he thinks that he would like absorb us as a launch pad and lie about us to make himself a victim so he could project himself and launch his own show when he cut and run and didn't even call me or didn't even say anything or didn't even say, hey, what can I do? He just cut and run and said, I'm done with you people. When Bloomberg and the Onion came in here and ransacked this place, and we stood up to him and won thanks to your backing and God's providence, and the whole time, he was trying to cut and run. But then when he figured out that, oh, it's still there, he slumped back over, and I never even came to him and said, hey, it's good to have you back, man. Glad, blah, blah. Just, yeah, okay, sure. Just like people say, why was you swinging around like that? Because I wasn't going to give him what he wanted. I knew what he was going to do, but I wanted to make sure. It's one thing to know what somebody's going to do, but it's another to wait till they do it. And he did it worse than I thought. So, Owen thinks his new franchise is going to be talking crap about me. He thinks his new franchise is going to be running down this fabled operation, this incredible crew and our supporters that are the InfoWar. Well, guess what, buddy? You can piss up a rope. No matter what happens to this office of the name InfoWars, we're going to go on forever thanks to the listeners and the viewers. God bless you all.
Oh, yeah. God bless you all. I'm not a crook. What was that about, man?
So again, I mean, it was a build up, but I'm still like 10 to 15% the entire thing is a bit.
Yeah. That's where I'm at, bro.
Greg Reese personally told me that he thinks Owen is sincere about leaving. Probably has been trying to plot his exit since he got out of jail over the January 6th thing, where Owen was the one person to go to jail because of InfoWars, not Alex, all that kind of stuff. The way that Jones has treated this whole thing seems to be very just bug fuck nuts. It really does. I would I would like to see Owen go the same route as David Knight, I would like to see Owen go the same route as Aaron and Melissa Dykes or Greg Reese or Burmis or anybody that left InfoWars. I know you have problems with Burmis. I do. But he was one of the original exiters going, no, this ain't working.
Let me
and
try
here's
Red
why.
Voice Media.
Yeah, everybody's got to eat, dude, and he's got more kids to feed than you do. It's a balance. It is.
Yeah.
People do shit their own way. They do. I don't look. I personally butted heads with that guy, either in public or off fucking camera, more times than you have. You know what I mean? Like, and will probably continue to do so.
He just strikes me, and I get it, man. That's your homie, but he just strikes me as a fake ass. We were talking about earlier about like these pundits, like on that you see on network TV, like, "Hey, everybody, Jason Burmis here." Or like, come on, man, dude. You know you really don't talk like that.
People are taught about fucking media the way they're taught about media. People do it the way they do. You and I didn't have that fucking background. Everybody else that has that background does the exact. Hey, welcome to the show. We're gonna have a great one for you today.
Oh my gosh! Grab your knickers. It's gonna be a wild one. And
you're getting buckled in. Go ahead and take a stop by the Patreon. Give that a like and a follow, and go ahead and donate $5. Like that's how people are taught to do this shit.
No. Yeah.
And if that's
your
background,
it's manufactured and fake as shit, man. That's the shit that turns me off, bro.
It's the shit that sells.
I can't do it.
It's the phrase that pays, bro. We don't make money off of this shit. So we just come out here and we're like, hey, so this is the world how I see it. I'm going to make fun of it a little bit. We're probably going to talk some shit and piss some people off, but what the fuck? It's what we do. We have a totally different fucking background and introduction to it.
Yeah, I understand. It's just
just as unpalatable to me as it is to you. I see that shit and I'm like, all right, next. Okay.
Yeah, man. It's okay. Like, it's too fucking fake, man.
That's one of the things. Have something to say.
Yeah, that's one of those things that as I've gotten older, I just hate shit that's fake. I hate motherfuckers that are fake. If I see it in the real world, I hate fakery. There's fake motherfuckers everywhere.
I should make you and Burmis hang out for a day. We can eat some fucking hot wings. We'll play hot ones. We'll do that. I'll moderate.
Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here.
I'll moderate. We'll eat nothing but fucking spicy food, and we'll just get both of you drunk and make you talk.
You did see him dodge my request to.
Oh yeah.
So that's another thing that loses respect points in my opinion. I'm like, you're so fucking loud about it. You're so confident, but when it's time to debate, crickets. That's another thing that really grinds my gears.
Show. I co-host an actual fucking. Nobody will come fight us, Wheezy. We've been trying to fucking pick a fight with everybody that we can fucking think of, and they're like, "Yeah, no."
There's a topic, Steve. You defend Jason Burmis, and I'll shit on him.
Okay,
we could debate that.
Okay,
I'll fucking do it.
It's past your bedtime, but yeah.
What time do you guys do it at?
9:00 on Tuesday night.
Oh my god, and that's West Coast
9
time,
p.m.
right?
No, 9 p.m. East Coast.
Oh, I might be able to do it.
Okay.
What
Tuesday,
day?
You're more than welcome in.
Tuesday. I should not be working on Tuesday, so I should. I'll let you know. I'm down, dude. I'm always up for a good little debate. I love that shit. It's always fun.
Yeah, I mean, but my point was like we fucking punched it all kinds of people. And we're like, hey, this is a thing you believe in. come defend that on our show. And they're like, no, I'm going to block you. Fuck you. And it's been Jay Dyer, Andrew Wilson, Chase Haggard, like all of the ortho bro community won't go anywhere near us. Neither will the online communists. Been blocked by everybody from the Revolutionary Blackout Network. Tried to get Nick Cruz on. Nico House shined us on. I've known Nico for 10 years. And he was like, no, I actually don't want to fight you.
Hey, at least he was honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the last episodes I did before I took my little couple week hiatus, I did a show with the Apollo detectives. We do these AMA ask us anything, and a couple of YouTubers, one with 150,000 subs, another guy with nearly 1 million subs, were making videos about my homies, and then I tweeted at the guy with 150,000 subs. He only had like 400 subs on Twitter, which was fucking wild, but he's got 157,000 on YouTube. What the fuck was his name? Dave McKeegan. I never even knew who this guy was, but he does a lot of pro NASA videos. And I hit him up on Twitter. I go, hey man, we're gonna be talking shit about you. You're more than welcome to stop by. And we were going on doing our little video, and then he popped in at I think the hour and 45-minute mark. And he pops in. I'm like, with the StreamYard, you just see the dude pop in. I'm like, oh my God, he's popping in. I mean, because 157,000 subs is no joke. That's a large fucking channel. You can make a damn good living off of YouTube videos with a crowd that size. And so I was like, oh my God, this dude he answered my little call out and he showed up. So we all gave him respect. He did put up a good fight. He did good, but I feel my dudes fucked him up. But then again, it was just him versus everyone else. And the fact he didn't run away, dude, he stayed for like 3 hours or 2 or 3 hours. He didn't have to. And he was in the UK, so it was like fucking midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning for him. And he hammered it out. And we finished that show. I think he's full of shit on his points, but I gave him respect points for actually showing up. There's something to be said. Someone that is willing, all right, you really believe it, you're going to step up. I'm going to respect you. I'm not going to, doesn't mean I have to agree with you. Doesn't mean, everything else is all fine and dandy, but I'm going to respect that shit. And there's something beautiful about it. Because when you have two people that are honestly debating, that's the key right there. When you have debate, both sides need to be 100% honest. Don't be using silly fallacies to make a point. Don't be bullshitting, your position or any of that stuff. Just come up, be 100% honest. The other side, same thing. And even if the two sides disagree, the listeners, the audience, they're going to learn some shit. And they might even see a point made by the other side that they never even considered and make them like, damn, maybe this here is right. And I need to consider it. So I don't know. I've always been a fan of debates, man. I'm always challenging people to debates. I want to debate all kinds of shit. And anytime I call people out on a debate on whatever the subject that I'm calling you out on is because I feel goddamn good on that particular topic. You know what I mean? I'm also the type of person, if I don't know a subject, I'll quickly say, I don't know too much, dude. I ain't going to debate you. I don't know shit. But I don't know. It was a little rant, but it just gets annoying when you run into these fucking clowns like, oh yeah, you're definitely fucking wrong. You're definitely wrong. You want to debate it? And then they get quiet. They don't have any balls anymore. It's pretty crazy.
Have you seen any of those like surrounded or Jubilee debates where they put one fucking mainstream idiot in a room with like 20 or 25 college kids and influencers, and then they go at each other?
Yeah.
This is a nightmare scenario for me. I can't think of anything less productive. I can't think of anything that drives the division more than shit like that. And people are flocking to this nonsense because you get to watch a fucking semi overturn on the freeway and then a bunch of motorcycles and several other cars crash into it. So everybody's gonna fucking slow down for that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's what fucking sells. And
Yeah.
it drives me fucking nuts. And having said that, I watch them.
Yeah.
Not all the time, you know, but I watch the fucking Amanda Seals bullshit where this fucking, you know, dumb fucking bullshit college fucking talking point fed influencer garbage human is doing the academia fucking two-step over everyone that comes in front of her, and they're like, bitch, I'm trying to talk to you. You're talking at me, I'm trying to talk to you. This is a fundamental breakdown of communication. I'm not sure if you're completely understanding what we're supposed to be doing here. This is weird, you know. And they had Patrick Bet Value on the fucking thing wrecking a bunch of communists, which was kind of funny, but at the same time, you know, it's Patrick Bet Value and he's a horrible piece of shit too. So it's like, oh, hey, all the worst people we can think of are in the same room yelling at each other. And that's what the goddamn mainstream YouTube is. It's whatever podcast or Fresh and Fit or Jubilee, and it's just people with base, not based, but base level, surface level, cursory understanding. All right. Yeah. No, I'll host that too, Chris. I'll host that too.
That's Tuesday's show right there.
All right. Let's set it up. Both of you guys fucking get a hold of me and commit, and we'll make it happen.
I'm down. I already committed.
But yeah, dude,
I'm gonna commit rhetorical assault on Chris. I'm just kidding. I love you, Chris.
You know what, dude? You're my dude, and I love you, but I got $5 on Chris. I do.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Bring that money. Bring that money. I love a good debate.
But yeah,
especially religion is my wheelhouse, bro.
Modern discourse, though, as far as that goes, it's been so reduced to fucking who has a viral moment or a talking point, and it's so dumb. I hate it. I fucking hate it. That's why we do like 3 or 4 hour streams where we really get into the fucking weeds and try to figure this shit out.
Yeah. No, man, I'm super interested. I think in the past, because of the job that I had especially when I was doing fucking cement, bro, like one day you were expected to be there at 2 a.m, very next day be here at 9 a.m, just all over the fucking place. That's why I couldn't do it anymore. But this other job that I have is just gonna be fucking easy 10-11 hour days, so I can handle that kind of shit.
Yeah,
a lot more kickback and more steady. So if it's 9 o'clock, I can do it. Hell yeah. I'd love to do it. Hell yeah.
All right.
And I'm sure Chris will be there. And Chris
also
Chris supports the show, bro. He supports the show, so
Chris it'll be fun. Is an OG, dude. He really is.
He represents What Is Truth podcast. I've seen him do it on shows, and so shout out to Chris, man. I love you, bro.
I have a picture of the two of us where he's wearing your hat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. At my event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a gangster, man. I love him. But see, that's the thing. When you have debate, you don't have to hate the other side. You don't have to like have animosity towards them. It's just the point that you don't see eye to eye, and you can discuss it civilly. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that's a generational thing?
I don't know, man. I've thought about it. I think it could be a personality thing too. You got some people that will get offended for stupid shit. You got other people that have thicker skin. So it could definitely be something where it's just personality traits. You know what I'm saying? Because people are
Okay.
fucking different, man. You see some people that are cool as shit. You see some people that are more uptight. You see people all over the personality spectrum, and so I think if you can get two people, like for example, last time I debated religion, it was with my boy John Brisson. He's a hardcore religious guy. That's you're going to hell. Shout out to John. But we debated. It was a great conversation, man. We went at it hardcore, bro. I was throwing the kitchen sink at him, and he was
Mhm.
coming back. I felt great, man. I felt after the show, oh, I got it. But some people that saw it said, oh, no, I thought John did good. And so that's the other interesting thing with debates, too. If you already have like a pre bias, you may see your guy winning, especially if it's close. If it's close and it's really hard to tell who won, who made the better points. If you already have a certain bias, you're going to swing one way. Now, if it's completely lopsided, where one side trashes the other side because the other side wasn't prepared, or maybe doesn't really have the way to vocalize their thoughts properly, that could be another huge factor in the debate. Maybe the other side, the person that can't vocalize their thoughts real good, maybe they're telling the truth, and they just don't know how to communicate it. And the other guy could be full of shit, but he's a better communicator. It could look like the other guy won the debate, even though
Yeah.
he was full of shit. So there's a lot of factors when it comes to debating. It's not just truth versus bullshit. And other
This
times
is
it comes to the
why
eye of the beholder.
I really do, man. I hate the whole like internet debate bro scene. I hate the whole culture around it. The only reason I agreed to do the debate show that I currently, help host is because it's one of my best friends. And
Yeah.
like that's hosting it. And I know he's not going to turn it into something internet shit showy, you know. But the Soho Forum in New York, which is pretty much like I don't know, like a offshoot of a libertarian think tank kind of thing. They host Soho Forum debates, and you get an affirmative and a negative. Somebody's debating the affirmative side, somebody's debating the negative side. And then you've got an audience, and they poll the audience beforehand. How do you feel on this issue? Where do you lie, affirmative or negative? And then the debate takes place, and they immediately send the participants off stage, and they poll the audience again. Who moved? Who's changed because of one of these arguments? And whoever moved the most people is declared the winner of the debate. That's the most straightforward, honest assessment that I could think of in order to judge something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a great debate that I found on YouTube, ironically. And it's is is anti-Zionism anti-Semitic? That was the debate. And it had four speakers on each side, and they were debating their points. They were debating points. The people that were saying, no, it's not anti-Semitic to be anti-Zionist, resoundingly wiped the floor with the guys that were advocating that it was anti-Semitic. And at the end of the debate, they did for everyone in the audience, they got to like do like a voting, cast their ballots, boom, 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 cast their ballots. And it was a resounding win. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. Both sides brought what they felt were their best guys. And even then, it was a clear winner. You
Yeah.
know, the other side really didn't have anything to stand on. Trying to advocate that yes, being anti-Zionist is anti-Semitic. it's complete. I mean, obviously, we can see that it's obvious nonsense, but it was good for people that may be on the fence. Maybe they may have in the past felt pressured that if they are anti-Zionists, they would be deemed anti-Semitic. So it's a good debate for people to. It was a good exercise for people to see that that's not the case, and in that form of debate, you know, it was completely brought forth. Let me see if I can find it, but it's a real good one because I want to know the title. So if anyone's interested, um, let's.
I've seen some really bad debates on that topic too. Most of them involving Dave Smith, and most of them involving Dave Smith dog walking all of his opponents.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that, you know, Dave should be the guy to put forth those arguments. I really don't.
Yeah. But he gets touted as the guy, and so you also have to wonder if that's done by design, as well. Let's see, where is it? Okay, so this is the debate. It's like an hour and a half if anyone's interested. Um, Damn good debate. So debate: anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. That's and so you
That's
have
a
one side
great
saying,
prompt. That
"Yeah,
is a
dude,
great fucking debate prompt. It really is.
yeah." And you listen to it. I listened to the whole hour and 20 minutes, and it's freaking great. And you see all the people in the audience towards the end, everyone voted, and it was a resounding victory for the people saying, no, it's not anti Semitic to be anti Zionist. It's a freaking political ideology. What are you talking about? So, yeah, it's a great one if anyone's interested down the line to listen to.
When it should be like a one and done kind of thing. Zionism is a political movement as proscribed by the people who created it. They put it in black and white that it was a political philosophy, that the religion was, you know, a sideshow to the end goals of these political aims. End of fucking conversation, right? Like you would think that, but no, you gotta go through a whole bunch of fucking nonsense. And usually what it does is expose the other party for being disingenuous, freaking fanatical liars. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Mr. Steve, that was a lot of fun, man.
Yes, sir.
It was good, man. I thank you for coming on. It definitely has helped distract me in many ways, and it was soothing for my soul, if I may say so. Where can people find you, my man?
All over the place, but you know, primarily Rumble and Odyssey, BitChute, Substack. We're trying to promote the Substack, substack.com/am wake up. We're If you use your Brave browser, we're ad free. I'm not allowed on YouTube. I show up on YouTube every now and then, usually to the detriment of the show that's on YouTube. Sorry. I'm kind of, you know, YouTube toxic. Um but yeah, basically every major streaming platform other than YouTube, we're there. You can watch ad free. Please come hang out, subscribe, get into the Telegram group and stuff like that. We do in-person real life meetups and events throughout the year. We're having a big event in October, third eye carnival of this year, in El Paso, Texas. It's going to be a freaking rager. You can go to thirdeyecarnival.com for tickets. We also have discounts at, you know, local hotels and stuff. Get on, leave the online space, come hang out in 3 dimensions. It's a ton of fun. A whole bunch of live music, live podcasts, bunch of other cool stuff going on. Get there, be a part of it. If it's not happening where you are currently, it will be. This is only growing. and only getting better. Also,
So I'm gonna show up to one of these. Um, Under my old marriage, I that was one of the frustrating parts. I wasn't allowed to have friends and go out and shit like that. Now that that is no more, um, I'll be bringing a hottie. I'm gonna bring a hottie to the Third Eye Carnival,
all right,
and we're gonna slay away. So, fuck
all
yeah,
right.
dude. I'm gonna show up. That's the reason why I hadn't gone in the past, man. Um, I never said it out
I
loud, but
understand. I
I
do.
was chained to this fucking room literally, and just fucking work. Shut the fuck up. Keep working. Keep working. I'm gonna fucking spend the money and do all this fucking shit, and I'll just leave it at that. But
Hey, dude, I had
things are
a
changing, bro.
very,
Things are
very
changing.
similar relationship that I haven't been in for a while, and boy, am I very happy with the one that I'm in. So
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I hope
That's
that
the
for
thing,
you.
man. Finding happiness. That's it, bro. I'm 43, and I ain't getting any goddamn younger. So um, yeah, it sucks, dude. It feels like
Mm.
I've hit fucking ground bottom, and I'm smiling and everything, but y'all don't even know half of the story. But the way I look at it, bro, is you can keep hitting rock bottom, keep hitting, and it feels like fucking shit. I feel like I've been hitting rock bottom for a while, bro. Especially doing the last 2 years where I was fucking working 16, 18-hour fucking days, and now I regret doing that. I did it for the fucking family, and it was all for nothing. Um, and
Well, okay.
you get
So it
fucking
was
played.
okay. As somebody who had that exact fucking mentality where I was working 2 to 3 jobs, didn't have fucking, friends or a life or whatever outside of the pre-approved fucking situations that we all went, shit like that. You're not doing it for nothing. You're not. It wasn't for nothing. It was for everything that's coming and for the fact that your kids aren't total fucking pieces of shit. All
Yeah,
right.
that's one way to look at it, but
Yeah, it has to be the only way you can look at it because everything else just makes you build up a whole bunch of fucking resentment and bitterment, and that fucking destroys you. It doesn't destroy her.
yeah,
Right. So, like,
yeah,
you've got good kids, your kids had a good life. You did your job better than most people have done that job. Take that fucking with you and go, I'm only 43. There's a whole bunch more life that is going to be way more fun and fucking with way less stress than the one that I led. And that's okay. It's okay. But you can't fucking you can't just play it out over and over because number one, you're probably right. You probably are. But what you got out of it in terms of like good, happy, healthy, well-adjusted kids for the most part, because there's a fucking generous gray area there. That's the job. Whatever you had to deal with the girl, ancillary from the actual job that you did. The bullshit that you had to put up with, it's that's designed to take you away from your primary focus, which was not having piece of shit kids.
I get you,
So
man. But you
as
know,
long as you're
we're
doing that, that's a
human,
fucking
and I'm
win. Take the
bitter as
fucking
fuck.
win. I know,
We're
I
all
do,
human.
I know. We can talk off camera for
Yeah,
hours if you want. I got you.
I
Like I
got you,
really
bro.
do. I got you. I've been through it. I fucking it there's no scenario of like,
I've had homies, man. I've had homies reach out. I just and I'm just gonna put it out. I don't know. Maybe at some point um I'll accept it, man, because it's been rough, man. It's been
yeah,
rough. And that's why I took 2 weeks off. It's like, fuck, dude, I couldn't concentrate. And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Even to do this show, I was like, fuck, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do a fucking show. And it turned out good, man.
yeah.
And that's what happens when you have homies, man. You're a homie. I hit you up last second and you pull through. and
I got
it
you,
was
Bubba.
great. And I appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
All right, y'all. That was a lot of fun, and I'll see. I'm coming back next week. I don't have a guest, but I'm fine. I'm gonna start booking my shows regularly. Um, there was threats that I had to leave my fucking house that I fucking pay. I ain't going nowhere. This is my fucking pad. So that's all I'm gonna say. So the show will continue. You know what I'm saying? So much love, hugs, and kisses to all.